You know your fans now, they want you in everything.
Oh,
Like, there's talk they want you in everything. The latest is they want you in this Pirates of the Caribbean reboot.
Drink up, me hearties, yo ho.
There's lots of talk.
Oh, really?
about
I haven't
that.
heard
Would you
about
be
that.
down for that if that opportunity
I loved
arose?
Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, who knows? I haven't heard anything about that, but you know, it just reminded me of when I was a kid, and I in elementary school we had to make these posters that had your favorite music, your favorite actors, and different things. And at that time, I don't know what grade. I must have been in 4th grade, 3rd grade, or something. But it was Pirates of the Caribbean was on there, and
it was huge.
It was
Let's
huge.
manifest this moment,
I
then.
don't know.
Come
I
on.
don't know. That's a hard one to touch because they did it so well. You know.
Yeah,
I love what Johnny did.
I see the brood. I can see it. We can see it, Austin.
Johnny always loved Benny.
This is our family. Forever.
Hey! I told you to take that jacket off.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off.
Okay, so I just saw the movie last night, so it's fresh for me, and I'm really. First of all, I loved it. Confession time.
Yeah.
I used to be a biker's old lady. So
Oh, really?
I did.
No way.
I used to be a biker's old lady. Jodie, I don't know if you experienced this in shooting, but there is nothing better than getting on the back of a bike and wrapping your arms around a fella and
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been saying, because everyone's like, were you jealous at any point? And I'm like, no, I'm quite content being on the back of that thing
See?
and kind of enjoying taking in the moment and not having to think about anything else. I agree.
Do you still ride?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I just rode 2 days ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, have you put a guy on the back of a bike yet?
No.
Okay.
I don't like putting other people's, like in everyday life, I don't want to put anybody else's life at risk.
Let me just get
know what I
on
mean?
the back of the bike, girl. Get on, wrap your arms around that man, girl, because it's good. You did grow up around motorcycles. Your dad
I did.
taught you how to ride when you were
my
what, like
dad did.
16?
I think I was 15.
You're 15?
He took me to a parking lot and put me on that bike. I dropped his bike multiple times. He was such a good dad. He just went, "It's okay, son." He let me get back up there. And yeah, he was a great dad.
Did he get a chance to come to the set then and like?
No, he didn't,
No,
sadly.
no.
I don't remember why, but yeah, he didn't come out. Yeah, but he would have loved that.
Was there any difference between like the vintage bikes you were on and what you ride now? So were you?
Yeah, it takes some adjusting because the clutch, you know, and every old bike is different, so they each have their own personality, but the clutch might not work very well, or the brakes, they don't want to stop, and it feels like you're trying to stop a train or something. And so it's a process of just learning each bike.
Did you have a freedom moment when you were riding? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I'd ridden by myself, but I'd never ridden in a pack. And there was moments like that where you're all together.
It's dope.
It's the greatest feeling. To feel the roar of every engine come together, and to look over at your friends, and to have that feeling of camaraderie and power. It's a great feeling.
I love it. I love it so much. I read, Jodie, I think where you said the toughest part about this was getting the dialect, the accent down. Now I'm a Midwestern girl, so I was listening and I was like, it's not Chicago, but it maybe Wisconsin, but it's very Midwestern.
You can't have him, he's mine. If he keeps riding, he's gonna die one way or another.
How was that for you, and how hard did you have to work on getting that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head because like I was given 30 minutes of real audio of Kathy being interviewed by Danny Lyons, and I started working on it with my dialect coach, and my dialect coach was like, this is not a generic Chicago accent.
Right.
Like, every vowel sound that comes out of this woman's mouth is a contradiction. She was like, so do you wanna do a general, or do you wanna emulate this? And I was like, I wanna emulate this. Like, this is what is so interesting.
Yeah.
So it was just about me kind of embracing that and focusing on that and having fun with it, you know, because she was very larger than life, and there was something about the quality of her and her storytelling that made me really lean in. And with her being the kind of the narrator of the film, I felt like it was super important. So yeah, it was just kind of like trusting that and embracing it and having fun with it.
Can you still slip into it?
No,
Not at all.
no, because I was even thinking this the other day. I was like, would I be able to? And I don't think I could, because I was like, I had to do so much to get there, and also just like the pitch and where it's held in my body is so different.
Well, it did take me back, because like I said, I was hearing like the things I grew up with, but it was different. Like it was different stuff every time, because there was the can't, she can't go, like that was
She was
there.
so nasally.
These young guys, they ain't gotta follow nobody except somebody who can hold their own.
The club is changing. Running drugs, gambling.
Is that who we are now?
Talk to me about the tattoos. Was it an everyday thing? How long did it take for you to get those on?
To put them on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was every day. I guess it was every day. Yeah, I would usually
When you
just
left
leave
them
them on.
on.
I was gonna
every
say
day
that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. I'd leave them on for the most part.
Do either of you have ink? Like real ink?
I don't.
I've got one.
You have one.
I have one that I got from my mom.
Oh, I was gonna ask what the significance was. I
yeah.
love that.
And so, and I get so tempted to get more because, you know, especially a film like this where I've got them all up my arm.
If you don't mind me asking, is it your mom's name?
No. It was her number, which it was the number 27. Not to lie to her. So, yeah, she was 27 when I was born. Yeah, so.
You're such a sweetheart. I think you've mentioned 27 to me before, absolutely. So in this movie, and one of the things I actually loved about when I was on the back of a bike a lot, was kind of what you said, that the pack mentality, that the idea of belonging, it's one of the throughest themes of the movie itself, but that idea of belonging and what bike clubs can do when, it's really about giving somebody a safe place, the loyalty in it, the care in it, the familial part of it. And I think it can kind of correlate to Hollywood in some ways, because I think in this industry, we all kind of want to belong, we want to feel like it. So this is to both of you. Did either of you have a Johnny when you first got to Hollywood, that person that said, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you, I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna be okay? Did either of you have that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have. There's an actor called Stephen Graham who, he's one of the greats. When I met him when I was very young on a job where I was filming for one day, and off that one day he introduced me to his agent, and has just been like a constant kind of caregiver, support, friend, and I think it's a prime example of people showing kindness and looking out for you, because I'm like, I don't know if I would have had this kind of path that I have. So he immediately springs to mind when you mention that, for sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, I have so many mentors through my life, and of recent time, it's interesting. The first person that came to my mind was Sharon Stone. She was sitting right in front of me in Cannes when Elvis premiered, and we had this moment right after the lights came up. And she kind of told me, your whole life is about to change. And she gave me some advice in that moment. It was really, and now I see her from time to time, and we kind of call her my fairy godmother.
That gave me goosebumps. And finally, Jodie, just for you, I know you're about to take on, this is actually my favorite thing of the day. You're gonna take on this kind of Robin Hood project with Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on,
Michael
man.
Sarnowski. Yeah.
How are you feeling about going into that alongside somebody very likely you grew up watching on the big screen?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I met Hugh very recently under different circumstances, and was fortunate enough to spend a bit of time with him, and he's just such a lovely human being. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super personable and humble and incredibly down to earth. So it's always funny when you meet people who are like, oh, I've spent most of my life watching you, and then you see they're just normal human, you know what I mean? They're just very down to earth, normal human beings. So I'm really excited. It's a lot of these two characters spend an awful lot of time with each other. So there's it'll be an interesting dynamic. So I can't wait. And I'm a huge fan of Michael, so I feel incredibly lucky.